When did your body stop feeling like home? Not all at once, but slowly, quietly, one ache at a time. You wake up stiff, even though you didn't do anything wrong. Your energy disappears before the day even begins. Sleep comes late and leaves early. And the hardest part isn't the pain itself. It's the feeling that your own body is no longer on your side. So you do what you've been taught your whole life. You push through. You take something. You tell yourself to be strong. You ignore the signals and demand results. And for a while that works, until it doesn't. After 60, many people start to feel betrayed by their own bodies. The knees don't cooperate. The back has opinions. The heart feels heavier, physically, emotionally. And the instinct is almost automatic. Fight harder. Fight the pain. Fight the fatigue. Fight the slowing down. But here's the truth. No one prepares you for. The harder you fight your body, the more it retreats. Not because it's weak, not because it's broken, but because it's exhausted. Exhausted from being pushed when it needed rest. Exhausted from being criticized when it needed kindness. Exhausted from being treated like a problem instead of a partner. Your body has been carrying you for decades. Through stress you never spoke about. Through losses you were told to stay strong. Through years of doing what had to be done without complaint. And now, it's asking for something different. Not another solution, not another battle plan, not another demand. It's asking for cooperation. Healing doesn't begin with force. It begins the moment the war ends. So take a breath. Not to fix anything, not to improve anything, just to pause. Because before healing can happen, there is one simple truth most people were never taught. And once you see it, everything changes. 1. Your body is not the enemy. Your body has never been trying to hurt you, even when it hurts. That idea goes against everything most of us were taught. When pain lingers, we assume something is wrong. We look for what failed. We search for the flaw. But the truth is far less dramatic and far more human. Your body has been adapting, protecting, and compensating for a very long time. What feels like a breakdown is often the final stage of endurance. Every ache carries a history, not a mistake. Your joints didn't suddenly go bad. They carried decades of responsibility. Your back didn't betray you. It held you upright through stress you never talked about. In Zen teaching, there is a quiet understanding. The body keeps score of what the mind tries to outrun. Pain often appears not because something went wrong, but because something has finally slowed enough to be felt. Pain is not punishment, it is communication. A monk once complained to his teacher, "My body hurts every time I sit." The teacher replied, "Good. That means your body trusts you enough to speak." Pain is the body's language. It says, "Look here." It says, "This matters." When pain is treated as an enemy, it tightens. When it is met with presence, it often changes its tone. Fatigue is not weakness. It is the body asking for cooperation. Many people feel embarrassed by exhaustion. They were raised to push through, to stay productive, to be useful no matter the cost. So when fatigue arrives, it feels like failure. But fatigue is not collapse. It is the body requesting a different pace. Buddhism teaches that effort without wisdom leads to suffering. Rest is not quitting. It is recalibration. The body braces when it feels judged. Harsh thoughts create tension. Constant self-criticism signals danger to the nervous system, and a body that feels unsafe cannot heal. It protects, it tightens, it holds. Healing doesn't begin with control, It starts with safety. The body listens more to emotional tone than to commands. Loneliness often settles into the body before the mind admits it. A heavy chest, a shallow breath, a sense of weight without a clear reason. After years of carrying responsibilities and relationships, silence can feel unfamiliar. In Buddhist thought, suffering deepens when connection fades, not just with others, but within oneself as well. The body registers disconnection first. Your body is not aging against you. It is asking to be met differently. There is a Zen story of an elder monk who walked more slowly each year. When asked why he didn't try to keep up, he said, "I no longer rush past where I am." Aging is not a malfunction. It is a transition, a shift from force to awareness, from speed to depth. The moment you stop treating your body like a problem, something changes. Not because pain vanishes overnight, but because resistance softens. And when resistance softens, healing finally has room. Your body has been loyal longer than most things in your life. It has waited without complaint. It is not asking for perfection. It is asking to be included. If the body isn't the enemy, then the real obstacle to healing is the fight itself. And that is the truth most people were never taught. That's where we go next. 2. Why fighting the body makes pain worse. The moment you fight your body, it prepares for battle. The mind declares war, and the nervous system responds instantly. Muscles tighten, breath shortens, the heart stays alert. Even in stillness, the body is on guard. This is not imagination. It is survival wiring. A body under attack does not heal, it defends. Pain grows louder when it feels threatened. Have you noticed how pain sharpens when you panic about it? The moment you think, "This shouldn't be happening," the sensation intensifies. That's because resistance adds tension, and tension feeds pain. In Zen, they say suffering is pain multiplied by resistance. The pain itself may be unavoidable, but the war around it is optional. Urgency tells the body it is not safe. When you repeat, "I need this pain gone," your body doesn't hear motivation. It hears danger. It hears rejection. It hears, "You are a problem," and a body that feels rejected does the only thing it knows how to do. It braces harder. Healing requires time, but fear collapses time into panic. The body does not respond to commands. It responds to tone. There is a Zen story of a student trying to quiet his thoughts. He clenched his jaw, tightened his posture, and demanded silence. His teacher laughed and said, "You are shouting at a frightened child." The body is no different. You cannot bully it into calm. You cannot threaten it into healing. You can only invite it. Loneliness quietly fuels the fight inside the body. When life becomes quieter, when roles fall away, when fewer people ask how you are, the body feels that absence first. The chest tightens, the belly hardens, the breath becomes shallow. Fighting pain often masks a deeper fear, being alone with what you feel. But isolation amplifies suffering. The body longs for reassurance, not pressure. Trying to control pain teaches the body to mistrust you. Each time you ignore signals, override fatigue, or push through discomfort, the body learns that its messages will not be honored, so it escalates, it speaks louder. What starts as discomfort becomes chronic pain, not because the body is cruel, but because it is persistent. A frightened body confuses healing with danger. In Buddhist teaching, fear clouds wisdom. When the nervous system stays activated, even rest feels unsafe. Sleep becomes light. Muscles stay tense. Digestion struggles. This is why relaxing feels impossible for so many people. The body has learned that letting go is risky. There is a Zen lesson hidden in pain. Stop chasing the exit. A monk once asked his teacher how to escape suffering. The teacher replied, "Who is chasing and who is running?" Fighting pain is chasing an exit, but the harder you chase, the further it feels. When you stop running, the pain often loses its grip, not because it disappears, but because it is no longer being fed. Listening changes the entire conversation inside the body. The moment the inner voice softens from, "Why is this happening?" to, "I'm here," the body registers safety. Breath deepens slightly. Muscles ease a fraction. That small shift matters. Healing rarely arrives as a dramatic breakthrough. It begins as a quiet permission to soften. Pain is not asking to be defeated. It is asking to be met. When the fight ends, the body no longer has to shout. It can finally speak in whispers, and whispers are easier to heal than screams. So if force only teaches the body to brace, if pressure only deepens the struggle, then the real question becomes, what does the body actually respond to when it finally feels safe? That's where we go next. 3. Healing begins with allowing, not controlling. Healing does not begin when you take control. It begins when you let go. Most people spend years trying to manage their bodies like broken machines, adjusting, correcting, fixing. But the body is not a device that responds to force. It is a living system that responds to relationships. Control creates distance. Allowing creates a connection. The body heals best when it feels included, not corrected. When you treat every sensation as a mistake, the body feels rejected. It tightens. It hides. But when you turn towards sensation with curiosity instead of judgment, the body relaxes its guard. Inclusion tells the body, "You belong, even like this." And belonging is deeply healing. Asking the wrong question keeps you stuck. "How do I get rid of this?" is a question rooted in fear. "What is my body asking of me right now?" is a question rooted in respect. That shift alone changes the nervous system. One demands silence. The other invites dialogue. Healing lives in the second question. Sometimes the answer is rest, and that's hard to accept. Rest feels uncomfortable for many people. It brings up guilt, old beliefs, the fear of being useless. But in Buddhism, rest is not laziness. It is wisdom. A Zen is saying, you cannot see your reflection in rushing water. Stillness reveals what effort cannot. Sometimes the answer is movement, but gentle movement, not punishment, not proving anything, just motion that reminds the body it is alive, not broken. Slow walks, stretching without goals, breathing that feels like an invitation. Movement done with kindness restores trust far more than force ever could. Sometimes the answer is emotion that was never allowed to surface. Grief stored in the chest, anger locked in the jaw, sadness held in the belly. For years, emotions were swallowed in the name of responsibility. But the body remembers. In Zen practice, emotions are not obstacles. They are weather. Let them pass through, and the sky clears on its own. Allowing is not giving up. It is ending the internal argument. Fighting yourself consumes energy that could be used for healing. When you stop arguing with your body, that energy becomes available again. You don't lose discipline, you gain alignment. And alignment is powerful. You don't need to fix your body. You need to stop interrupting it. The body already knows how to regulate, repair, and restore, but constant interference confuses its signals. Like a teacher being interrupted mid-sentence, the body never finishes what it's trying to do. Allowing gives it space to complete its work. Softening the breath is one of the fastest ways to signal safety. A slower exhale tells the nervous system it can stand down. The shoulders drop. The belly loosens. Healing doesn't rush in. It tiptoes. Quietly, gently, but it comes. Trust returns when the body feels heard. A Zen master once said, "When you stop commanding the horse, it remembers how to walk." The body is the same. When you listen without judgment, when you move without force, when you rest without shame, the body begins to trust you again. And when trust returns, healing begins quietly, not as a dramatic cure, not as a sudden breakthrough, but as a softening, a little more ease, a deeper breath, a longer moment of peace. And that quiet beginning matters more than anything, because trust is not built in a day, it is built through a new daily relationship. That's where we go next. 4. Learning to work with your body again. After years of being pushed, the body does not trust easily. When you've spent decades overriding pain, ignoring fatigue, and pushing past limits, the body learns one lesson very clearly. It must protect itself. So when you finally slow down, it doesn't relax right away. It watches, it waits. Not out of stubbornness, but caution. Healing doesn't begin with instant relief. It begins with rebuilding trust. Intensity never repairs what consistency can heal. Many people try to make up for years of neglect with sudden effort. New routines, strict plans, big promises. But the body doesn't respond to intensity, it responds to reliability. Small, steady care tells the body, "This is different now." In Zen practice, progress is measured not by force, but by returning again and again to kindness. The body listens to how you show up, not what you promise. You can tell your body you'll take better care of it tomorrow. It won't believe you. But when you rest before exhaustion forces you, when you stop 1 minute earlier, when you choose gentleness without negotiation, the body takes note. Healing is built from actions that prove safety, not words that demand change. Rest before collapse is an act of wisdom, not weakness. Many people only stop when the body breaks them down. Illness, injury, burnout. But choosing rest early sends a powerful message. You don't have to scream to be heard. Buddhism teaches that wise effort knows when to pause. Pushing past the body's limits is not strength. It is a misunderstanding. Movement heals best when it comes from curiosity, not punishment. There is a difference between moving to prove something and moving to feel something. Gentle walks, stretching without goals, breathing into stiff places without judgment. The body responds to movement that feels like companionship, not correction. In Zen, the body is treated as a teacher, not an obstacle. Kindness toward the body feels unfamiliar, and that's okay. For many people, especially later in life, self-kindness feels awkward, even unsafe. Harshness was familiar. Discipline was praised. Compassion was optional. So when kindness shows up, the body hesitates. That hesitation is not resistance. It's learning. Learning that the rules have changed. Treat your body like an old friend who has never left. This friend carried you through long days, sleepless nights, heartbreak, responsibility, and survival. It didn't ask for recognition. It didn't quit. It stayed. And now it's tired, not broken, tired. Friendship begins when you stop demanding and start acknowledging. Loneliness softens when the body feels accompanied. Many people feel alone, not because no one is around, but because they are at war with themselves. When the body feels unsupported, loneliness deepens. But when you show up gently, when you sit with sensations instead of escaping them, something shifts. You are no longer alone inside yourself. The body does not need motivation. It needs reassurance. Motivational pressures, reassurance settles. Saying, "I'm here," does more for healing than any self-improvement plan. In Buddhist teaching, reassurance is compassion in action. It tells the nervous system it can stand down. Support dissolves resistance faster than effort ever could. When the body feels supported instead of pressured, it stops bracing. Muscles release. Breath deepens. Pain changes its quality. Not always immediately, but noticeably. Healing does not rush in. It unfolds when the environment feels safe enough to allow it. And slowly, almost without noticing, you stop fighting. The body stops defending, and something essential becomes possible again, which brings us to the most important realization of all. Your body has never been your enemy, even when it hurt the most. It never set out to betray you. It adapted. It endured. It compensated quietly while you kept going, doing what life required of you. What feels like failure now is often proof of how long your body stayed loyal under pressure. Healing is not something you force. It's something you allow. You don't heal by winning a fight. You heal by ending it. The body does not need to be conquered. It needs to be accompanied. And companionship changes everything. You don't have to fix your entire life tonight. You don't need a perfect plan. You don't need to feel better tomorrow. You only need to stop attacking yourself today. So tonight, try something simple, not dramatic, not complicated. Place one hand on your chest and mean it. Feel the warmth. Feel the rise and fall of your breath, and say quietly without forcing belief, "I'm not fighting you anymore. I'm listening. I trust your wisdom." The body hears sincerity more than words. You may not feel a miracle. You may not feel relief right away, but something subtle often happens first. A softening, a pause, a sense of being met. That is how healing begins. The war ends not with victory, but with peace. And peace is not passive, it is powerful. It tells the nervous system it can finally stand down. Your body already knows how to heal. It has always been known. It simply needed permission. If this message reached you in a quiet place, consider staying with us. Subscribe to the channel so you don't have to walk this path alone. If you know someone who's been struggling silently, share this with them. Sometimes one gentle reminder is enough to change a week or a life. And if you feel ready, leave a comment below. What is one small way you can stop fighting your body this week? You don't need to rush. You don't need to prove anything. Healing is a partnership, and tonight, you've already begun.